we're jumping straight into the action here as we've got a matchup between two of the more surprising teams in the Eastern Conference, as we're about 12 to 14 games here into the season, depending on the early schedule. A few weeks in, the Bulls are tied for first in the entire conference, while Nashville currently sits at third in the conference. Both teams much improved over last season, and let's see how they match up with each other. J.R. Holloway, of course, a member of this Bulls team, number 1 pick 2 years ago. The draft that we got Andre Stevens at number 2. He's had a much bigger role this season, as we'll see today. Zach Levine missed that shot. Good contest by Moses Moody. Rolling around, Sidney Lowry answers it back. 4-2 in favor of Nashville here. J.R. Holloway was not featured at all the last time we saw him in his rookie year, but he gets the early basket here. Double comes from Malachi Pope. He wisely sees his former Duke rookie and gets him the easy basket. Levine playing physical with Moody and hitting the elbow jumper. Holloway with it again. This time off the screen, finds room on the baseline to hit the mid-range shot. Moody finding Andre Stevens, pick and roll. Nice contest by Zach Levine to force the miss on the big man. Had the size mismatch there, but couldn't take advantage of it as Francis Mullins gets a piece of J.R. Holloway there on the cut play. Now we've got Lowry going against Holloway on the other end. You got to figure that's a good matchup for us, as Holloway's not the best defender coming out of the draft, and he hasn't had too much time to develop it here quite yet, just in his second year. Pope trying to find Lowry here. Throws it straight to Chicago. Levine too strong on that 3 off the screen. Now Moody with the ball. Pick and roll with Francis Mullins. He gets the baskets and the foul. A couple of nice, easy baskets for our rookie center here, and getting him going early, and we're tied at 11 apiece. Van Vliet finds an open Levine. The shot is no good, though. Ernest Augustine checks into the game, gives Lowry a good screen there, and scores on the roll. Holloway to Levine. Now out to Keegan Murray, new member of the Chicago Bulls team. Moses Moody, clean look for top the key, but he put too much on it. Van Vliet, not much space there, and he missed the shot. Good fighting over the screen by our rookie point guard. Here we see Pope, and he hits the tough shot on the other end. A good sequence from Malachi. Levine, catch and shoot from the wing. Had plenty of space for that shot. Pope, full court pass to Mullins. It gets tipped, and the rookie missed the shot. He gets his own board, though. Sometimes you gotta, stat the rebound pass a little, but, a great pass from Malachi finding the big man. Here he finds Sidney Lowry, a deep 3, splashes it in, no problem. 20 to 14 now the score in favor of the Sound. Holloway fighting a little bit there with Ernest Augustine, and he ends up getting the turnover. An excellent defensive effort. Here you see the records. 10-4 for Chicago. Nashville, 1 less loss, but also 1 less win on the year. Lowry, no good on the pull-up mid-range shot. Levine tries to get a pull-up shot of his own. It was well contested, but Levine is a tough shot maker. Hudson driving on Campbell. They leave Francis Mullins wide open from the corner. He hits it. He is having an excellent first quarter on both sides of the floor. Tough shot for Holloway. He's not going to hit it. In transition, a quick trigger from Sidney Lowry, but he pulled it left. They've been running a lot of these cutting plays for Holloway, and for the most part, they have worked out well for him. He's done a big portion of this Bulls scoring. Acrobatic finish from Francis Mullins. He is all over the place. 14 points in the first 10 minutes of this ball game. He has been dominant. Campbell Has a mismatch in the post, but Lowry, good contest, and we get the stop. Under a minute left in the quarter. Lowry isolating on J.R. Holloway, and I imagine that's going to be a matchup we try to take advantage of throughout this night, as Lowry's just a much more athletic and quick player. Levine missed the three-pointer. Hudson going against Derek White. He's a tough guard to get by. Great defender, and he gets that stop there. Dosunmu, great look from the corner. It's no good. We've got one more shot here in the quarter. Davidson pulls up from the mid-range, hits it with 0.2 remaining, and it's going to be a double-digit Nashville Sound lead, 29-18. Well executed on both sides of the ball. Saw some great stops, especially from our rookies. I felt like they fought very well in that first quarter and then hit most of our open shots on the other end. Malachi finds Christian Davidson off the screen. Wide open mid-range shot. He drains it. Levine off the double screen. Had plenty of space and hits it top of the key. 31-21 now the score. Pick and roll with Malachi Pope. He's pulling up and missed the shot. Not a ton of space for him there. Levine, well fought by Patrick Baldwin to get over those screens. Stevens finds Baldwin here, and that was a good three-point look for him. AC Stevens cleans it up on the boards. His offensive rebounding has been a consistent boon for us in this series ever since we drafted him. Andre Stevens with the block and then the rebound off the miss. Chicago with it again. Dosunmu finds Levine, pick and roll. Levine with the finish inside. Baldwin going inside. Strong take over the center. Brian Campbell draws the foul and hits the first free throw. The second drops in as well. 35-23 in favor of Nashville. Van Vliet off the screen. Missed it. Now Levine with a shot, and he missed it as well. Pope. Stevens, pick and roll. Pope with the free throw line jumper. He missed that shot, but Andre Stevens is right there on the glass that time. Baldwin deflects the shot, gets the steal, and it's going to result in the Andre Stevens three on the other end. Now a 17-point Nashville lead. White gets the basket and the foul, getting past Davidson. A good effort there defensively, but White with a nice play. Can't finish the three-point play, though. Andre Stevens has the smaller Murray on him, and that is where Andre Stevens can use his size at the power forward spot. When you use a smaller power forward like the Bulls have against him, I want him to be able to take those strong looks often. Here we see Pope feeding Andre Stevens on the roll. An excellent pass from the point guard. Van Vliet had plenty of space there. Malachi. Bounce pass into Christian Davidson. What a pass. And Davidson gets the bucket. Pick and roll on the other side, and Precious Achiuwa had a wide open lane. Malachi finds another bounce pass on the pick and roll to Christian Davidson. That play's working out quite well for us. Davidson missed the first free throw, but he does avoid going 0 for 2. White off the dribble. Can't hit that three. I think that's a shot we're, for the most part, going to allow him to take. Malachi going coast to coast. And it's now 20 points the lead, 49-29. Nashville has been excellent on both sides of the court in this first half. As White buries that deep range shot. Davidson trying to answer, but he can't. Achiuwa to Van Vliet in the corner. Trying to get by Malachi Pope, but the defense was sound and the stop was had. But Patrick Baldwin gives the ball right back to Chicago. Holloway, I have no idea how he didn't go out of bounds there. finds Van Vliet, who finishes the play, and it's going to be a Nashville timeout. Pope to Moody. Good help defense by Derek White, and the rotations force the miss. Van Vliet off the dribble drains the 3. We're down to 12 now. Murray hits another one, and it was just 49-29, but an 11-0 Chicago run, and now it's single digits. Sidney Lowry can't stop the run. Now we've got J.R. Holloway, a solid look, and he drained it. We've got a 14-0 Chicago run. We need a basket here, and Sidney Lowry comes through for us. Boy, did we need that one. A nice feed from Sam Hudson. Holloway gets blocked by Lowry. Excellent play from our best defender, and Moses Moody gets the point-blank shot on the other end. Levine driving past Moody, and he draws the foul. 24 seconds left in the half. Levine missed the first free throw. Seen a few free throw misses, it seems like. Lowry trying to drive on Holloway. We've gone to that several times here in the first half. It's not going to work that time around. So, all in all, the Bulls end up winning the quarter by 1, but not a great quarter for us, considering we at one point had the 20-point lead and the Bulls cut that in half at halftime. Here's a little bit of a halftime check-in on where we're at. Mullins, 14 first quarter points, leads us. Andre Stevens also shooting 4 of 5. Davidson, 7 points on 6 shots. And then Pope, not the best shooting, but he already has 7 assists to just 1 turnover, so I like that a lot. Murray, off the catch. This one's off. Andre Stevens finds Malachi Pope, pulling the trigger from deep. But the jumper is off the mark. Levine has space, but it was a tough mid-range shot, but Achua cleans up the offensive glass right between our 2 big men inside. Lowry, pick and roll with Andre Stevens, but Murray played the passing lanes and comes up with the steal. And Vliet tries to find Holloway, but we get the steal right back. Pope driving inside on Van Vliet, forced to pick it up and just threw it right at the back of Zach LaVine. Done a good job limiting turnovers today, but that was a bad one. Lowry, though, just keeps getting us the ball right back. Now he's going to pick up the assist as Andre Stevens has had his jumper on the money today. Keegan Murray left wide open and makes us pay for it. 8-point game now. Lowry finds Andre Stevens, and he goes off glass for 2. J.R. Holloway off the screen, tough. 3 didn't really ever square up. Pope spinning, shooting, and just too much on it. His jump shot has not been quite on the money today, but that one from Van Vliet was right where it needed to be. Coming off the double screen, Pope inside finds the wide open Andre Stevens, and his jumper continues to fall. Van Vliet steps back and drains the shot. Starting to heat up a little bit with his jump shooting. Now Lowry dribbling around, finding his spots and cashing in that mid-range jump shot. Pick and roll for Chicago. And that one is stuffed. Ernest Augustine had a couple of really nice blocks on J.R. Holloway. And in transition, Christian Davidson drains the 3. What a sequence here from Nashville. Murray, wide open top of the key, answers us right back. And the Bulls are not going away here in the third quarter. Mullins, haven't seen him score in a minute, but he gets that nice post attempt off glass, and J.R. Holloway on the other end gets another one of those cutter plays that they've been running so frequently for him. Bulls have Levine trying to isolate on Christian Davidson, spinning and shooting off glass. What a good defensive effort from Davidson, I think. Pick and roll now. Levine with space from deep, rattles out. No one covering Ernest Augustine, and that ugly three-pointer falls for him. It may be ugly, but all I really care about is whether or not it goes in. A nice defense there from Davidson. Will force the Levine miss. We get a look for Lowry late in the shot clock, but he pulled it right. Now Davidson finds Hudson, and he's quick to pull the trigger. Same spot and the same result for the squad. Lowry with another steal. He's been doing that all night. And then J.R. Holloway doing his best Sidney Lowry impression, driving all the way to the rim and then taking the jumper instead of the layup. Hudson, those last two plays, you're kind of seeing why I've lowered his touch tendency heading into the year is when this man gets the ball near the three-point line, he's just taking it. That's just what Sam Hudson's going to do. But lowering his touch tendency has actually, I think, worked out very, very well because it's turned him into more of a passer, which I think he's very good at. And Lowry, speaking of very good, beautiful drive there, and our best player shows up for us in that moment. Van Vliet found just enough space off the cut to pull the trigger. Ernest Augustine finds a good look for Lowry. That three, nothing but net down the barrel. Lyles feeds inside to Derek White, just got it over the outstretched arms of Lowry. Levine got that one, had a bunch of sound around him, but none of them could alter the shot. Augustine doing his best Dirk Nowitzki impression, but not going to work because Buddy's not anywhere close to Dirk. Dalen Terry, the other end. I've never seen Ernest Augustine take anywhere close to that kind of shot. Here, Lowry finds AC Stevens, and the baseline mid-range shot falls. And so now after the end of three, it's a 10-point Nashville Sound lead. We had an 11-point lead after one, and it's just kind of really stuck there. There's a couple of mini runs, but no team has really gained an edge since the first quarter. It's been mostly back and forth in this ballgame. Oh, tough shot off glass and in. His perimeter jump shooting has not been there for him, but he's hit a few tough shots on the inside, and the Sumu gets the defense to react to the screen so he can pull that shot. Andre Stevens, he is on fire. You think this guy maybe likes to play against the Bulls? Remember last season it was the Bulls game where Andre Stevens really put his name on the map for this team with his excellent performance. The Bulls are the only team in the NBA draft that passed on him, and I think he still might hold a little bit of a grudge for that. Lowry, tough shot on the inside, and he missed it. Desuma gives to Derek White. He spins and goes inside, drawing the foul on Malachi. First free throw is good. And for Derek White, he is able to drain both of his free throw attempts. Nice find by Malachi, but that's the one that Andre Stevens missed. Okay. I see you. Feeding Derek White inside in transition. The Bulls have dropped it down to just 7. Malachi finds Baldwin. He might have been open had he just stayed behind the three-point line, but instead he took a step in and it ended up being contested. Achua wide open. Gets that shot to fall, and it's down to just 5. Need a basket. Got to start building some momentum. Davidson does draw the foul, but he is not a great free throw shooter. He's missed one already today. He's going to go 1 for 2 once again. But he does extend our lead by at least 1 point. Levine trying to go in on Patrick Baldwin, and he's blocked. Baldwin not a great defender, but he's certainly been great for us today. Stevens shooting and hitting a tough shot for the young power forward, but he hit it. Levine guarded by Moody. Tough shot, and that was like a half inch away from being blocked by Mullins. But instead it'll be a made basket. Pick and roll with the 2 rookies. Pope still can't get his jump shot going. Levine driving inside on Moody. Excellent defense there to force the miss. Nashville pushing the ball up the court. Finding a quick shot for Lowry. That's the kind of looks we want. And he drains it, giving us back a 9-point lead. Holloway in the post. Guarded by Lowry, and the defense was there. I love Lowry's defense. Malachi, that's a good look for him. Been having some trouble getting good looks throughout this game, but that's the kind of look we like to see. Sending it a double to Levine. Do not like that, and I don't like Precious Achua getting a wide open corner three, although somebody's got to do it. I'd rather have Achua than some of these other Bulls. Lowry responds with a three of his own. Cutting is the Sumu. He gets the feed and finishes over Malachi. Now the Bulls are sending the double to Lowry. Got to find a good matchup, and we did. Mullins. Sometimes I feel like this team forgets that Mullins exists on the offensive end, and I wish we wouldn't, because he is insanely efficient. I feel like this guy is always making shots for us. Nashville. We lead by 8. Lowry hits the 3 off of the assist from Mullins. Van Vliet. Bounce pass. Finds Precious Achua, and it's a foul by Mullins. I don't know if I saw it there, but okay. Precious hits the first free throw. We're down to 3 minutes, and it's still a 10-point ball game. It's been a 10-point ball game for 3 quarters. Malachi drives in, has a nice-looking shot, but his jumper just was not falling for him tonight, which I will say I've been watching a lot of games off camera between last episode and this one, and Malachi's been doing a great job with his jump shot. He's just had an off night tonight. Lowry, pretty good look, but he missed that one. Murray from 3. Every time we've given him a clean look, he's hit it. Can we stop helping off of Murray, please? Stevens had the open 3, and then he takes it once he's guarded. What are you doing, Andre? You've been excellent today, so I can't be too mad, but take it when you're open, not when you're covered, and now it's a 4-point game with under 2 minutes left. Andre Stevens, this time he's going to take the open jumper, and he hits it. A massive shot for Andre Stevens. Levine, alley-oop to Precious Achua. 5-point game. A bucket here would be quite massive, and we get Sidney Lowry with the attempts. Holloway trying to argue the foul, but that's never any use. Never seen a ref actually reverse the foul because the player complained about it. And that's an 8-point game, a massive possession for us. A stop here could really bring us the victory, but we don't get it. Levine with a big basket. Back into the hands of Lowry. Mullins, wide open from 3. And he hit the shot. This guy is just awesome. I love Francis Mullins, man. And Levine still not giving up. But I think with one more basket, this game will be ours. They double Lowry, and Moses Moody with the emphatic game-sealing slam. And it's going to be 111 to 102 in favor of the Nashville Sound. They now will tie the Chicago Bulls in wins, but the Bulls now have 2 more losses. This was a fun back-and-forth matchup between 2 of the early best teams in the East. We know it's far too early to really say if this is where the teams will be by season's end, but it's been 2 young teams that have had, or I guess the Bulls are not that young, but they do have some young pieces. But obviously a very young team for us. We've had a very exciting start as Sidney Lowry rightfully wins player of the game with 33 and 9 with 3 steals. Mullins ends up with 21 and 15. He was awesome. 11 points for Davidson. Pope, again, his shot was not falling for him tonight, but he did an excellent job with his assists. 13 assists to 2 turnovers is awesome. So, shooting the ball isn't everything, and he was impactful in many other areas. I thought just an all-around good game. Baldwin didn't hit a shot. Hudson didn't hit a shot, but for the most part, really liked the effort we saw from the Nashville Sound today. And here we are at the end of the episode. November 29th is the date. And after this game, we would actually extend our winning streak to 10 games here with this one, 48 points from Lowry here on 25 shots. Moody poured in 18. I think his probably his best of the season. Andre Stevens, good game. It looks like Pope just had a rough little stretch here. We'll see if he got that corrected by the end. But also we picked up a couple wins between this Pacers game and this Bulls game. So let's look at those. I actually watched all of these games. Lowry, Mullins, and Pope really led the way. This trio was awesome in this win against the Clippers. We'd watch us play Kelvin Fletcher, who was 10-3 in this game, but Lowry 34, Mullins 26, and Pope 25. This time we got a couple more guys in double figures though. And then an overtime victory here against the Blazers with Lowry with 34, Pope with 32 and 11 in this one. Very nicely done. Francis Mullins 16 and 13, Andre Stevens 11 and 11. Next win would be Milwaukee here. Andre Stevens leading the way with 23, 9 and 1 with 3 steals. Sidney Lowry 18. Pope got back his shooting form, only shot 7 times though. Mullins shot a ton, didn't make a bunch, but there you have it. In the end, it was enough to win 127 to 119 here, and it was Sam Hudson with 24 in 17 minutes, shooting 10 of 12, leading us here. Lowry with 21, Baldwin, Davidson, Mullins, and Stevens getting in double digits once again. Seeing a lot of single-digit performances in this stretch from Pope after what was really an awesome start up through this Bulls game. But let's go ahead. I've got a couple things I want to look at, and the first thing is just something that I've been keeping track of this season is the shot distribution on our team, and just kind of what we're getting there. Let's enlarge it a little bit. Here we go. And basically I have watched 6 games. Of course, the only ones that you've seen are Sacramento, Indiana, and then Chicago. I watched these 3 games here as well off camera, and I want to just see how the shots are being distributed and if we need to make any changes in terms of touches per game that might get it to a point where we want it. And as you can see, we're getting around 82 shots per game, and to get to 82, I came up with this shot distribution as being kind of what I wanted. I honestly wanted pretty much everybody on this list to get more than that. When I came up with my actual desired shots per game, it was at like 97, which we're just not getting that many shots in a game. So to get down to 82, I had to nerf everybody's by a shot or 2 from where I really want them to be. But as you can see, just kind of everyone's within a couple shots at least. We're actually getting these top 2 players shooting more, and it's kind of making everybody else, for the most part, in this middle section actually not getting quite as many shots as I want, because these bottom 2 are actually getting additional shots as well. And so don't think we need to make any changes yet. A sample size of 6 is still kind of small. Of course, there's also a lot of games in simulation, but I'm not as worried about those games. I'm mostly worried about when we're watching the games, because come playoff time, we're going to be watching these games. Are we getting a shot distribution that I like? And if not, we can alter some touches. So far though, I think we're in a pretty good spot. And so just so you know, this will be something I'm monitoring. If you guys want regular updates on it, I will be happy to give those as well. But last thing I want to do here for this episode is to look at the player stats now. I think Malachi Pope probably dropped a bit. Yes, he has indeed. Last time I checked, Pope was actually averaging almost 18 points a game. So this cold stretch is definitely affecting that. But 29 points a game with 5 rebounds and 5 assists for Lowry through the first month of the season. 1.3 steals as well. 2.5 turnovers, shooting 56%. And shooting 51% from 3. Second in scoring is Malachi Pope at 15.2, also pouring in 8.5 assists, which is really nice. Only 2.5 turnovers. That's an excellent assist to turnover ratio, especially for a rookie. That's awesome. Also getting over a steal. His Field goal shooting, last time I checked, before I started the simulation post Bulls game, was around 45. That's dropped to 42. Three-pointers are under 30% right now, which is not superb, but I'm not too worried about it if I'm being honest. 15 and 8 with 2.5 assists for Andre Stevens, getting over a block per game. He's shooting 55% and 41% from deep, nearly 42 really. I don't know if that's going to maintain throughout a season. Mullins with 14, 10, 2.5 assists, almost 2 blocks. Not turning the ball over much at all, which is nice. Shooting really well, shooting 50% from 3. Don't know if that's going to hold. Just under 10 points per game is Patrick Baldwin with 4 rebounds, assists and a half. And he's shooting 45% from deep, 44%, and 57% from the field is Moody. He's really taken well to kind of being that 5th starter and only taking the good shots. And that's why he is starting over Christian Davidson. I know there are some that would rather have Christian Davidson start. I just like these two in the roles that they have, where Christian Davidson is more of a featured player in his minutes, whereas Moody, oftentimes when he's playing, he's the 5th option on the court, but he's very, very efficient 5th option for sure. Stevens, 8.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, nearly a block as well, shooting 60%. This team is absolutely on fire. 5.2 points and 4 assists for Sam Hudson, and less than a turnover as well. Our 2 point guards are doing an excellent job passing the ball. They really are. 4.3 points per game for Ernest Augustine, shooting 55%. Like, goodness, who's the worst? The worst shooter is Malachi Pope, I think, and then it's Christian Davidson. And so, like, 45% is our second worst, 42 is our worst, and it's our guy who we're asking in his rookie year to take over the point guard reins and lead a lot of lineups. I mean, I'm not mad at either of these percentages. And then there's only 3 players on the entire team shooting less than 50% right now, which is absolutely wild. And I don't know if we can keep it up, which means we might be in for a little bit of regression. I don't know if 13 and 6 is something that we're going to be able to keep up for the remainder of the season, but something to keep an eye on, as it is time to start to wonder about Wilson Fisher and Sam Hudson, because come, I think, like this week here, we'll be able to trade one of them. And, you know, Wilson Fisher's starting to get a little bit anxious not getting playing time, but Sam Hudson's been great for us. But if you look here, something I want to show you guys, it's right here. If you look, so we are paying Wilson Fisher about $6 million a year right now. I imagine his next contract would probably be cheaper. Sam Hudson's on an expiring contract. He's expecting $13 million per year on his next contract, which is obviously double what we're paying Wilson Fisher. And so while I like what I've seen from Hudson, is it worth twice of Wilson Fisher, especially if we go back very quickly here to shots per game? Like, we're talking about a guy who we're expecting to get 3 shots per game, you know what I mean? Our desired shots per game are 3, and so as much as Sam Hudson is a much better scorer, he's not somebody that we're asking to shoot very often. As you see, his actual shots per game is just barely above that as well. And so Hudson definitely a better scorer, but how much is that really needed, and is it worth twice as much? I feel like the argument for him is that he has been an insanely efficient passer for us. I mean, I just want to go to stats back here really quickly. I want to look at per 36 minutes what his stats are. So he's averaging 9.5 assists to just 1.8 turnovers per 36 minutes. Malachi Pope's been an insane passer for us, and Sam Hudson on a permanent basis has been even better somehow. And so I feel like his passing is certainly unlocking our second unit's offense. And so for now, I lean Sam Hudson, but I think there is an argument to be made to saving about $7 million per year, at least in the near future, by going with Wilson Fisher instead. But it is tough. I think We're going to figure out which one we want to trade pretty soon here, though, because Wilson Fisher is not happy not getting any playing time, and Sam Hudson wouldn't be either. I do know that. So anyway, that is pretty much all I wanted to go over with this episode. The next time, we've got a nice little 76ers game on the schedule. Gonna see Damian Harvey versus Malachi Pope. That is a matchup I am looking forward to greatly. But that's all I've got for this episode. I'll be back soon with that episode. And until then, sound up.